Hey, I'm Sam Ross, CEO and founder of Claim Climbers, and today we're sitting down with Michael Dendy, an advocate in the real estate industry for veterans. And Michael has spent how many years now in this?
8.
8 years he's been sitting here, and his primary focus, from what I've been able to see on his education side, is focusing on helping veterans understand this process and make sure that he's demystifying it for them. So first, I just want to start with, how did you get into the industry?
Getting into the industry was interesting. I was not even doing anything with mortgages or real estate or anything. I actually sold radio ads.
Sold radio ads?
Yeah, sold radio ads.
Okay.
And I was working at this radio station selling radio ads, and a guy walked in. I had just started working here at this company, and a guy walks in that's one of the account executives for the radio station. And he goes, "Hey, today's my last day." I was like, "I just got here. What's going on? What's happening?"
What happened?
Yeah. He goes, "Oh, I'm going back to an old industry that I used to work in. I used to work in the mortgage industry." And I was like, "Oh, what's that about?" And he goes, "Oh, it'd take too long to tell you." I was like, "Why don't we grab coffee sometime?
Okay.
Hear your story." And so I grabbed coffee with the guy. I think it was a couple days later, and he would not stop talking about this company he was going to work for that does a lot of good, like all over the world, not just mortgages, but they do more than that.
Okay.
So come to find out, I just about a month later asked him, "Hey, what's this story with this mortgage thing?" He goes, "Oh, you want to get a mortgage?" I was like, "No, I want to look at getting into the industry. How do you do that?"
I'm ready to buy now.
With all of that, he's like, "You can't get into it. It's going to be too hard. You got to get licensed, and the company usually doesn't hire people that aren't licensed." And I was like, "Okay." So I started studying for my mortgage license exam. I took the exam a month later and passed it. I was sitting in the parking lot after passing the test, and I called him. I was like, "Hey, I just passed my mortgage exam. I'm licensed now. What's next?"
So you went from selling radio ads one day to, without any sort of reason except for you saw this guy do it. Did you do any research during that time in between to get you excited about it?
Yeah. What I really wanted was, I guess at that particular moment, I wanted to be a part of like a company that was doing something something bigger than just me.
Yeah.
We all want to be a part of something bigger than ourselves, right?
Right.
So that was kind of what I wanted. I was like, man, I could just go sell stuff. I've sold roofs, I've sold this, and I've sold that. But do I just want to be somebody that sells stuff and makes money, or do I want to have an impact over time?
Right.
And so it looked like this was going to be a vehicle or a way for me to do that. So that's why I wanted to work for this particular company. Since then, though, I've realized that there's a lot of different facets of the mortgage industry. And so the company ended up moving me from one place to another, and we can talk about that at some point as well. But that was kind of the beginning of me really wanting to focus in and hone in on helping others.
So you started at the radio station, you saw this, and it was the first step to a bigger picture in your mind of being able to be part of something larger than yourself.
Right.
Studied that, hopped in it, and then that's standard mortgage though. How did you even look at getting started with veterans? Is there a time that you heavily started focusing on them, or what kind of triggered that? Was that still where you started?
Well, once I got into the industry, into mortgages, there's a lot of different loan types. There's investor loans, there's agency loans, which are like FHA, and then USDA and VA. And then there's conventional loans. There's all these different types of loans. So one of my coaches said, "Hey, you need to find out something that to hone in on one thing and kind of focus on that." Whether it be, in the real estate industry, some real estate agents go, "I'm going to work with just first-time home buyers," or I'm just going to work with investors, or I'm going to work with self-employed people, or whatever.
Is that because it takes so much to learn that one section, or is there a reason people just pick one specialty?
I think that people probably, I think too many people just go with this shotgun approach. oh, you do that, I can do that mortgage, I can do that, I can do that. And same thing with real estate. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll help you. They may not know a lot about the luxury market, but they want to be in the luxury market because
Right.
the luxury market pays well, right? But they don't know anything about it. So they haven't honed in on that particular market. Well, for me, my coach at the time was like, hey, you really need to focus and figure out, who you want to help. You can't help everybody, so how do you narrow that down? So I really narrowed it down. Most people, when they start in the industry, want to go to first-time homebuyers because that's the easiest to educate.
As in the first-time home buyers are?
Well,
People are, or
that
stuff in it?
niche
Okay.
is like people go, oh, I'll go with first-time homebuyers because then I can do first-time homebuyer seminars. If I do first-time homebuyer seminars, I'll get first-time homebuyers. And then they're just an easy market, or easier market, it seems like. But I was like, I want to make things difficult.
Sure, why not? We've
I was
been
like,
there.
if everybody's already done, or if everybody's doing that and they're going down the road of first-time homebuyers, to me, it would make more sense to find something I'm more passionate about.
Right.
Well, I started looking. I was like, my son, he was in the Army, and my dad was in the Army or military. And so I was like, you know what? Let's start looking at what the VA loan looks like.
Okay.
And I wasn't really thinking about making it a niche necessarily, but what would it look like to help veterans? And then I started looking into the veteran community as far as VA loans and how they are put down, I guess you would say, or it's like a less than loan, if that makes sense. And
Everyone misunderstands the rules and
Yeah.
thinks that they know it completely.
Right.
Every realtor you talk to thinks that they understand the rules to a finite degree, but really everyone just takes their own subjective approach to it.
And to me, I was like, that's something I can fight for. I can go fight the good fight, if you want to call it that, and help veterans figure out how they can get their loan. So I started doing a lot of research, really focused in. Early on in my career, obviously I didn't know a lot about mortgages at the time.
Yeah.
So every single Thursday I'd sit down for hours and just pour through all of the guidelines, reading guidelines, looking at all the different pieces of the puzzle that could really help hone in on when you ask a question, when a veteran asks a question,
Having
can
that
I
answer and reference it.
right. And so I did that for years and years, like every Thursday. That was my deal. I was like,
And
pour
then plus
into it.
the updates that they consistently have and you have to continuously watch for.
oh yeah,
Plus the ones that get canceled at last moment.
yeah.
It's the same thing over here. I cannot imagine. Do you still go through and look up the updates, or how often
yeah.
are you checking them now?
Yeah, circulars come out all the time. We have to hit the VA circulars and make sure we understand the updates there. A lot of people ask questions about what do the VA guidelines say. Well, the VA guidelines may say one thing, but then there's Ginnie Mae. They're the ones that back the VA loan.
Okay.
Ginnie Mae has their own set of guidelines, their lender guidelines. And then
Okay.
on top of that, you have every year there's a VA conference where they talk, VA mortgage conference,
Right.
where they give updates. When they give updates, their word is policy. Basically, they could come out and say, oh yeah, we used to look at it this way, but what we've seen lately is that this is the direction we're going to go with that particular answer.
And all of a sudden you have to pivot.
Yeah, you have a guideline over here that says it this way. You have Ginnie Mae, which is saying this is what the lenders have to do, and then you have the VA conference. Like it's just, sometimes they're talking over each other.
Right. It's contradicting each other. So now,
Right.
So how do you navigate that?
We have to go really with what the lenders are going to allow as far as underwriting.
Okay.
And a lot of times we do push back with underwriters and say, hey, here's what the guidelines say. I understand that investor guidelines say this, but I think this is a situation that we would be
Right.
able to look at. And a lot of times underwriters will give a little leniency. That's the beauty of the VA loan. When you get into conventional guidelines, if you don't meet this requirement, you don't get the loan. FHA guidelines, same thing. If you don't meet this, you don't get the loan. With the VA, it's a little bit different. It's underwriter.
They know that they're contradicting their own rules, so they have to give it a little bit of gray area every now and again.
It's underwriter discretion.
So as long as you understand the policies they have, stay tuned for all the updates, and understand all the lenders, then you could make a fully informed decision at the current moment on VA loan.
I suppose. At any given moment, yes, that can change too.
It just, exactly. So coming on to the topic of talking about VA loans and all the policies, the group you were just talking about, the Facebook group, Vetted VA, what do they stand for? How did you get part of them? What is this?
Vetted VA is an advocate group, basically. And it was started in Facebook, and it was started by a couple of mortgage professionals and real estate professionals. And as it started and continued to grow, it was only designed for one thing: to help veterans trust and verify. That's the whole statement with Vetted VA.
Trust I see it on their website. You go up there and it says trust but verify.
Trust but verify.
And that's something in the military it is said all the time.
Right. And so basically what was created was a structure, including ranks and everything else, for veterans to be able to come to a specific place, get educated on the VA loan, get any information that they want, get it for free, and not have to worry about somebody trying to solicit them for business, and not worry about, hey, they're going to make $1 off of me, so since they're going to make $1, they're just going to tell me what I want to hear. No, everything in Vetted VA is 100% non-solicitation. So anytime, and it's so strict on non-solicitation, if anybody, whether it be a veteran or a moderator or anybody in the group, solicits anybody else in the group through a DM message or says, hey, I can help you with that, even in a message or anything, they are removed from the group.
And that way it allows veterans to go get all the education they want. If they did want to reach out to somebody, could they?
Yes.
Okay.
Vetted VA does have a web page, and they have a map with all the vetted professionals across the country. And you can certainly go click on the map in your state. And when you click on the map in your state, you can pick from the list there, and they'll be glad to help you in any way that they can. But that's not the primary goal. The primary goal is to make sure that veterans are supported and that they're given the right information and the tools and ammunition, if you want to call it that, so that they can go close on a loan.
Education on a loan, so a veteran can walk into a situation fully informed.
Right.
Whereas they are already under the assumption that their realtor may not know everything about the VA loan.
Correct.
So it allows them to, even if they didn't want to go with anyone in that group or anything like that, they have the education.
Right. All the time, we get questions, hey, my loan officer said this, and I don't know if it's true. Can you help me? We'll answer the question and then say, here's what you need to, here's the guideline. We'll even quote the guideline. We'll snap a picture of it. And then we'll say, take this back to your loan officer and tell them that this is how it works. And it would be super easy in that situation to solicit, right? Well, your loan officer doesn't know what they're doing. You should come work with us or whatever. But that's not what we're about. We just want to make sure that they're educated, and they may love their loan officer. Maybe their loan officer or their realtor really doesn't understand that particular guideline or that particular piece of the VA guidelines. So we're just there to help them.
They're working on first-time home buyers usually. They get a VA loan. You guys can send them with information to them and they're still the intermediary who talks to their lender and everything. So you're never soliciting or anything like that. Mm-hmm. You're just empowering them to be able to still make informed decisions.
Yep.
That is one of the coolest things and one of the coolest concepts you can look. So does it have to get that education, do you have to be the veteran looking for a home? Can you be a family member of a veteran? Let's say you're a father of a veteran or something like that, and they don't know much about the VA loan and you're wanting to help understand it to go through. Do they have courses or anything like that that family members could take to just help them?
I don't know that they would. I don't think family members could. I mean, like a spouse probably could.
Okay.
But You have to be a veteran to be in the group.
Okay.
They do verify that, they verify veteran status. Let me back up. It doesn't have to be veterans. It could be active duty.
Okay.
So
active
it could be
duty or veterans.
active duty, veteran,
Military.
reservist, National Guard, or surviving spouse in certain situations. So,
Okay.
That's really who this group is for.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. So if the veteran it is completely contained, so you know that you're going somewhere that is not going to have anybody outside in it, and everyone in there does have information on your type of loan and is able to provide the education. I'm sure that there's a little bit more education that always comes around the home loans, kind of whenever you touch anything VA benefits, you know, you start touching in a whole bunch of different areas because they all kind of tie into it together, right? Like for us, you know, we provide next letters, help veterans get their VA disability, but we get home loan questions all the time. And it's because you represent VA.